World News. I'm Michelle Hussein, live outside Buckingham Palace, where thousands are gathering ahead of today's royal wedding. It's the marriage of a couple who represent the future of the British monarchy. They'll be taking their wedding vows in the full glare of the international spotlight. It's the biggest celebration of its kind in London for 30 years. Crowds are camped out along the route. Others are taking part in street parties. And around the world, a huge television audience is tuning in as Prince William and Kate Middleton's wedding is broadcast across the globe. Welcome to a day of special live coverage from Buckingham Palace. It's the day of the royal wedding. In 3 hours' time, Kate Middleton will be arriving at Westminster Abbey. It's the journey that begins her married life, but also her journey into the heart of the British monarchy, an institution that still captures public imagination around the world. Prince William is a future king. His marriage will be seen on television, not just here in Britain, but by a global audience. Well, overnight, thousands of people have been camping out along the route the wedding party will be taking through central London. As the ceremony approaches, others are making their way to the area around the palace behind me and all the way to the Abbey. We'll be showing you what it's like along the route and at the hotel where Kate Middleton and her family have been staying. But first, this report from our royal correspondent, Daniela Ralph.
Together for almost 10 years, a relationship conducted for much of the time in private. But today, Prince William and Kate Middleton will emerge onto the grandest of public stages, as husband and wife, and as future king and queen. Most grooms don't spend the night before their wedding like this. For Prince William, an impromptu walkabout with his brother outside Clarence House, to the amazement of thousands gathered on the Mall. The brothers spent around 15 minutes among the crowds. Prince William appeared genuinely at ease, no obvious sign of wedding nerves.
He came over, shook our hands, gave us a few words.
Yeah, he just came out of Clarence House to kind of see everyone.
They just said a really nice hi, nice to meet you, so glad you guys are out tonight.
Less than a mile away, his bride arrived at the Goring Hotel with her mother and sister, where she will spend her last night as a single woman. The welcome she received, a taster of what's ahead as a member of the royal family. Earlier, the Queen and Duke of Edinburgh hosted a drinks and dinner for foreign royals who are in London for the wedding. The groom's father, Prince Charles, and Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall, were here briefly, but left early to spend time with Prince William. The Prince of Wales had also met a number of Commonwealth leaders, here ahead of his son's big day.
There's a real connection between Prince William and New Zealand, and so a lot of Kiwis will have a heightened interest as a result of that. And I mean, you know, Kate is a very beautiful young princess and is going to be, you know, a great asset to the royal family and great queen one day.
The last-minute preparations have revolved around the rehearsals at Westminster Abbey. Kate's final visit before she walks down the aisle, a chance to practice with her young team of bridesmaids and pages. While the bride's dress remains the wedding's best-kept secret, the groom's outfit has been revealed. Prince William will wear the scarlet tunic of the Irish Guards, of which he is colonel. But he's currently serving in the Royal Air Force, so will wear his RAF wings to reflect that.
3 cheers to Will and Kate! Hip hip!
The Abbey is now ready for its 16th royal wedding, a place inevitably filled with mixed emotions for Prince William. Here, as a teenager, he was at his mother's funeral. Today he will marry, with Diana's family watching alongside. There remains 2 significant pieces of information surrounding the wedding that we don't yet know. The couple may be given a new title by the Queen later this morning. And of course, at 11, we will finally see that wedding dress. Daniela Ralph, BBC News.
Well, actually, one of the pieces of information that Daniela said was still missing has actually just been revealed to us, because Buckingham Palace has announced that Prince William, on the day of his marriage, has been given the title of the Duke of Cambridge by the Queen, which means that his new wife will become Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Cambridge. That is how Kate Middleton will become known once she marries Prince William at the Abbey in a few hours' time. So he'll become the Duke of Cambridge. He'll, of course, still be Prince William of Wales, but her title will be Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Cambridge. Well, we have correspondents right along the route that the couple and the wedding party will be taking. Prince William will be travelling from Clarence House, which is the home of his father, to the Abbey. Kate Middleton will be going from the hotel where she and her family have been staying on her own journey to the Abbey. Let's go now to Nick Hyam, who's at that hotel. What is it like there this morning, Nick?
Yes, good morning, Michelle. This is the Goring Hotel, an exclusive five-star family-owned hotel immediately behind Buckingham Palace. Not only have the Middleton family been staying here, but most of their friends and guests, they seem to have taken over the whole hotel. They hosted a dinner here last night, and you can probably see coaches lining up to take the guests to the wedding. Kate, it's fair to assume, will be waking up this morning. She'll be having her hair done. She will be fitted with the dress. Still the best kept secret about this wedding. We still don't know who's designed it or what it looks like. And at 9 minutes to 11 local time precisely, she'll walk down the steps of the hotel underneath that white awning to prevent us getting an early glimpse of the dress, and step into one of the limousines from the royal household alongside her father, Michael Middleton, and she will then drive down past us here, round the side of Buckingham Palace, to emerge in front of Buckingham Palace on the Mall, the processional route to Westminster Abbey. Michelle.
Nick, thank you. We'll come back, of course, as the actual ceremony draws closer. But also along the route is the BBC's Chris Buckler, who's at the stable yard on the Mall. Chris, what's it like there?
Yes, indeed. I'm just in front of Clarence House, where Prince William and Prince Harry spent the night. You're just hearing, of course, there from Nick, where there's a little bit of nerves, obviously ahead of the big day for Kate Middleton. I'm sure there are a few nerves here as well. They'll leave just before Kate Middleton at around 10:10 London time and make their way to the Abbey. And of course here, just huge amounts of crowds have gathered along. Last night they were treated to Prince William coming to see them outside, greeting some of the people who have camped out just to get a prime position along this processional route to Westminster Abbey. And I'll just give you a sense of just how big that is. I mean, crowds clearly over there behind me, but they line all the way down towards Westminster Abbey. You can see the flags taking the route as well. And of course the big thing is they are going to see Prince William leave here, make his way to the Abbey. He'll be followed by other members of the royal family as well, who will leave from Buckingham Palace, which is just at the end of the mall. But the big moment, and why some people have camped out for a couple of nights now, is because they want to be in a prime position to be there at the balcony or below the balcony whenever Prince William actually takes his new bride back to Buckingham Palace and is there for that famous kiss at the balcony. Many people have been here for many years before. They have come here 30 years ago in some cases to see Prince William's parents marry, Prince Charles and Princess Diana. They are now back 30 years on to see Prince William marry. And for many who have lined this route, the day has finally come and it's just hours away now. The cold wait overnight has been worth it.
Chris, thank you. Well, this route crosses through the heart of ceremonial London, the area where the government ministries are, where the residence of the British Prime Minister is. Let's go to Mike Sargent, who's a little further along the route towards the Abbey in Whitehall. Mike, is there actually still space for people to join if they want to be there in person?
Yes, a little bit, but every time you look around, there are more people lining Whitehall, the pavements filling up all the time. A few dozen stayed the night and got their place right at the front, so they'll be able to see the procession going past. But now there are thousands who are lining these streets, already waving their flags, already cheering as everyone walks past, some wearing costumes. Huge policing presence visible from here as well. The police in their hundreds have been walking up and down, just checking everything is okay from a security point of view. And of course, everyone waiting to catch a glimpse of the princes as they come past here and the royal procession as it returns from the Abbey. And the music you hear in the background is the organ from the Abbey that's going to be piped into Whitehall. So although they won't be able to actually see the wedding service, they will experience a lot of the atmosphere, and of course they are all here to catch that glimpse in person of the royal couple.
Mike, thank you. There are big screens also in some of the London parks, so some of those who aren't actually along the route themselves will be able to get a sense of what it's like inside the Abbey, which is where we can go next because the BBC's Sangeeta Maiska is there. I imagine there's probably not space for anything, Sangeeta, absolutely packed around the Abbey.
There's barely room to breathe here, Michelle. The atmosphere is incredibly exciting. Let me just show you where everybody is in relation to the Abbey. This, of course, is the West Door, where at 9:15 GMT, Prince William will arrive with his best man, Prince Harry. If you take a look, the red carpet is now out. This is the door by which all of the royal guests will enter. You can see them just sweeping it down as we speak. As Mike was saying, on the other side, a heavy police presence. Let me just take you round. Over here is the North Door, which is really where all the kind of non-royal guests will enter, so people like Posh and Becks, Joss Stone, famously the Middleton's butcher and local news agent from Bucklebury. Let me take you down. This is Parliament Square. Just masked behind the trees is Big Ben. Look at those crowds. Absolutely extraordinary stuff. Most of them camping out like others are along the processional route from Tuesday onwards in this area. They've got their flags at the ready. They've got scrapbooks. They've got pictures, paintings, almost all of them saying in unison that part of what brought them here was the Princess Diana effect. When she was alive, they fell in love with her. They remember seeing William walking behind her funeral cortege. It moved them then. They wanted to see the woman in person that he has chosen to marry. They feel that he's almost part of their family, and that's why they're here today. Let me just show you some of the banners and some of the posters that have been made. This lady I know has come from the United States. She brought all of these pictures with her. She had her children at the same time as Diana, and she's followed her throughout. Let me just take you along. Almost every single nationality you can imagine is represented here. In this little crowd, for example, we've got representatives from Trinidad, Tobago, Canada, New York. A lady here, your son is in the procession, yes?
Yeah, he's in the captain's escort. He'll be escorting Kate and William's carriage.
How proud are you?
Most amazing day. I'm the most proudest mum in the world.
And David, very quickly, what would be your good wishes for the couple?
Just love, happiness and peace and goodwill and a long life together.
I mean, Michelle, this is the overwhelming sense of pride and joy that people have from almost every country in the world. It's almost impossible to describe to you. But, ladies and gentlemen, what kind of a noise will you be making for the couple when they arrive? There's no more to be said, really, is there? In the next few minutes, the guests will arrive and the event will finally kick off.
Thank you very much, Sangeeta, for bringing us a flavour of the atmosphere around the Abbey and indeed getting the crowd to practice the cheer that they'll give William and Kate when they get there. Let me just remind you what we heard in the last few minutes, the bit of news that we've been given by Buckingham Palace, that Prince William has been given the title of the Duke of Cambridge, which means that Kate Middleton's title when she marries him will be Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Cambridge. We can speak now to Colleen Harris, who's a former royal press officer. She worked for Prince Charles and therefore also with Prince William and Prince Harry. Is this the title that you were expecting, Colleen?
No, it wasn't actually. I thought we were going to call her Princess Catherine. I thought there was going to be this exceptional ruling. But nevertheless, I think the public probably will call her Princess Catherine anyway.
Because that's something that the Queen, it's a dispensation that the Queen could have made in these circumstances.
Yes, I know, and I suppose we were getting ahead of ourselves, weren't we? But anyway, Duchess of Cambridge she is, and that's her official title, but I think she will become Princess Catherine to the public.
Well, those who are working in the job now that you used to do, you know, part of the image makers of the royal family, what will they be wanting us to think at the end of this royal wedding day?
Well, I think they're all pleasantly surprised at the moment at their public mood, the public support, the warmth, because you never know how these things are going to go. But it's all gone tremendously well so far, so they'll be really happy about that. And then I think they'll want William and Catherine to move on to their sort of ordinary everyday lives, with her as an officer's wife, living in Anglesey, and have time to sort of build their relationship and build their marriage together.
So, for instance, the walkabout that we saw Prince William do last night, that was genuinely impromptu. The palace would have had a look at the reaction and perhaps thought, well, this would be a good time to go out there and chat to people.
Yes, I think it was impromptu. Definitely, that I think they've been genuinely surprised at the warmth and enthusiasm from the public, and wanted to respond to that and to thank the public. And that was a good opportunity there for William and Harry to go out and see them. A really lovely surprise for the crowds that were gathered there.
Absolutely, I think they were absolutely thrilled to see Prince William, and Kate Middleton, when she arrived at the hotel she's staying in last night, did give a bit of a wave to the crowd as well. We're going to be speaking to Andrew Morton, who wrote a very well-known book about Diana, who's also about to publish a book about William and Kate. We'll be speaking to him in just a moment, but first let's get a sense of how this wedding is being viewed around the world.
On French TV, a lookalike couple have been promoting the big day.
We are Kate and William, and you can watch our wedding on eTele.
Some of the countries that got rid of their monarchies a while ago have been most enthusiastic in their coverage. This was Russian television. In this New York store, the shelves are full of comic book superheroes. And now there's a new dynamic duo, William and Kate.
Honestly, when I saw it, I started laughing, and I couldn't help not pick it up and kind of check it out.
These troops taking part in the ceremony are just back from foreign duty. There have been messages of support from their colleagues still out in Afghanistan.
Good luck, Wills and Kate, on your big day.
I hope the weather is as good back in the UK as it is here in Afghanistan.
The weather was certainly good at Somerton in Somerset for this recreation of the royal wedding with local schoolchildren. There were plenty of dignitaries from overseas. Prince William was a little nervous.
You sure you're doing the right thing here?
I don't know. I'll find out afterwards.
For richer, for poorer.
But the ceremony passed off without a hitch. A good omen, perhaps. Andy Moore, BBC News.
With me now is Andrew Morton, who's a biographer of Princess Diana and the author of her book, Diana, Her True Story. Andrew Morton, many of the people we've been speaking to have said it is because of Diana that they are here today. How important is her legacy on this royal wedding day?
Well, very important. I mean, you know, there were three of them at the engagement, Diana, William and Catherine, and there are three of them at the wedding as well. And in a way, it marks a step change, a new chapter for the royal family, because remember, the last time a global audience saw Prince William was following his mother's funeral cortege to Westminster Abbey. Today, you'll see Catherine, or the newly minted Duchess of Cambridge, walking out of Westminster Abbey, all smiles. So you see a very different image of William, and perhaps the ghost of Diana will not be laid to rest, but will be changed form, as it were.
Your book was an absolute watershed, actually, for the royal marriage, and I guess also for the monarchy. What sense did you get through that research and what Diana told you about what she wanted for William?
Well, Diana spoke to me a lot about Prince William, and she made it clear that she wanted William to be a king who was not like other kings, that he had a sense of what people really wanted, that he had a sense of how people really lived. So she took him to see the homeless, took him to hospitals, took him to see people who were making their last journeys, and gave him a real sense of what life with a capital L was really like. And I think that's part of her legacy too. The one canard really is the fact that she always felt that Prince Charles should step aside and let Prince William take over. That ain't going to happen, and I don't think Prince William these days would thank her for it. I think he wants a more quiet life than that as being the sovereign.
But do you think that the style of this occasion is pretty much along the lines of what she would have wanted to see?
Well, it's a very English wedding, isn't it? I mean, the music is English. The guest list is apart from the North Korean ambassador, is fairly English, and so Diana was an English rose, and so she would have very much approved.
Okay. Now, tell me about William and Kate, because I know that they are your current project, and
yes.
You're about to publish a book about them. Did you start working on that at the time of the engagement, or had you decided earlier that it...
No, I decided earlier that these two were going to get married, and it was just a question of when, not if. And I think it's really interesting that Catherine has got that, is very much a mother figure to William, even though he seems to be the lead partner, certainly, and he will be for the next few years. But I think that she will come through. She's got all those qualities that tabloid headline writers hate. She's patient, she's loyal, and she's discreet.
Absolutely discreet. I mean, imagine people around them. I mean, how much were you able to actually... How close were you able to get in terms of your research?
There's quite a few. I mean, the romance took place at St Andrews, so I've spoken to quite a few students and friends in that circle there, and found some brand new pictures which are in the book, and it really gives us an insight as to the up and down nature of the romance, because the romance was not all smooth sailing.
Andrew Wharton, thank you very much indeed, and good luck with your book, which is going to be published in the next few days.
Thank you.
So let's speak now to our royal correspondent, Nicholas Witchell, someone who has covered every twist and turn of this process. Nick, first of all, tell us a little bit more about this title. He'll be the Duke of Cambridge.
Yes, they will be the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, which I think people will be slightly mystified by, and perhaps even disappointed at, that the Queen has not used her discretion to create her as Princess Catherine, which I suspect is how she's going to be known. It's all rather odd, isn't it, that they dig out these royal dukedoms. There hasn't been a Duke of Cambridge for more than a century. The title has been extinct since 1904, but there it is. That is the palace decision. They're going down the traditional route, which perhaps was to be expected. He is the Duke of Cambridge, and she, upon marriage, the moment the Archbishop declares them husband and wife, Catherine Middleton becomes Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Cambridge. Perhaps we missed a clue a couple of days ago, because the Queen Elizabeth, actually visited the city of Cambridge earlier this week.
Being a Duchess sounds, well, not old-fashioned, but certainly quite a sort of mature title for a young woman. We're used to Camilla being the Duchess of Cornwall. Now there's a much younger Duchess joining the family.
I think that's a very diplomatic way of putting it. Yes, Duchess sounds just a little bit old-fashioned. I think many people will think it's a bit fusty, and there we are. But that's the decision. Many people. I mean, she is Princess William of Wales. She does become Princess William of Wales upon marriage, so she is a princess, but not, as it were, in her own right. The Queen could have said that she will be styled Princess Catherine, but she hasn't done that. Her formal title is Duchess of Cambridge, and certainly here I sense that people are rather disappointed. They're saying, oh, well, you mean she's a Duchess? Well, we thought she was a princess. Well, she is, but it's the Duchess title which will perhaps take preeminence. But it is a title which does hanker back to an earlier time. As I say, there hasn't been a Duke and Duchess of Cambridge here since 1904.
Nick, give me your sense of the atmosphere that you've seen at the palace, around the Abbey. Do you think that all of this goodwill is affection for the monarchy, or something specific to William and Kate?
I think it's a combination of the two, actually. I think all the evidence is that within the United Kingdom, the support for the monarchy remains absolutely solid. It's generally at around 80% of people in this country favour Britain retaining the monarchy, even despite all the ups and downs that the royal family has gone through over the past 30 years since the last major royal wedding with Charles and Diana. That level of support has remained pretty constant. It dipped, of course, after the death of Diana, so I think it is a combination of respect for the monarchy and particular affection and good wishes for this young couple who undoubtedly are in love. I think in this country, in Britain, it has been rather slow to take off, the sort of engagement with the whole story. There's been much more interest, one would have to say, from around the world, from the United States, from North America as a whole, from Europe and elsewhere. And the British, perhaps, we are slow to get involved in these things, but I think it has now really taken off, and certainly on the Mall, as you're seeing, and here at Westminster Abbey, there is, it's packed, the entire route is packed, but I think that across the country as a whole, there is now a feeling that, yes, they are the modern face of the monarchy. As the Prime Minister yesterday said, they are the leaders, the top team of the future, but of course it will be, in all probability, some decades before William becomes Britain's king.
Nick, thank you very much indeed, our royal correspondent, Nicholas Witchell. Let me bring you up to date, if you're just joining us, with what we're expecting to happen in the next few hours. In 3 hours' time, the service at Westminster Abbey will be well underway. There'll be 2,000 people inside. Many, many thousands are camped out along the route from Buckingham Palace, where I am, all the way to Westminster Abbey, where it'll all happen. This is a marriage of two people, of course, but one that is taking place in the glare, not just of the spotlight here in Britain, but the international spotlight, because as many as 2 billion people could be watching Britain's future king take his wedding vows, and he'll be known as the Duke of Cambridge after his marriage. Our coverage continues in a moment.